China's latest mega dam project is a testament to the country's engineering prowess. Towers of concrete and steel rise from the riverbed, holding back a reservoir larger than some seas. This marvel of modern construction is not just a source of national pride, it is a potent symbol of China's growing global influence. The dam's technical specifications are staggering. It boasts the largest hydroelectric generating capacity in the world, capable of powering entire cities with clean energy. Its construction involved moving mountains of earth and diverting the flow of one of the world's mightiest rivers. But beyond the impressive statistics lies a more complex reality. The dam's location, on a river that flows through multiple countries, has raised eyebrows and sparked anxieties. Neighboring nations, already wary of China's growing assertiveness, view the project with suspicion. Is this mega dam a purely technological marvel, a symbol of China's commitment to sustainable development? Or is it a geopolitical lever, a tool to exert control over vital water resources in an increasingly thirsty world? Water, often taken for granted, is rapidly emerging as the world's most precious resource. As populations grow and climate change disrupts rainfall patterns, water scarcity is no longer a distant threat, it is a stark reality. From the parched fields of Africa to the water-stressed cities of Asia, the scramble for this vital resource is intensifying. Rivers, once symbols of unity and shared prosperity, are increasingly becoming points of contention. Countries located upstream are realizing the leverage they possess over their downstream neighbors. The construction of dams and other water infrastructure projects, while essential for national development, often come at the expense of those living downstream. The geopolitical implications of this growing water stress are profound. History is replete with examples of conflicts sparked by competition over resources. As water becomes scarcer, the potential for such conflicts to erupt, particularly in already volatile regions, is a growing concern. The international community can ill afford to ignore this looming crisis. We need to move beyond narrow national interests and embrace a spirit of cooperation. The future of our planet and the well-being of billions of people depend on it. For countries downstream of China's mega dam, the project is a source of deep anxiety. These nations fear that China's control over the river's flow could have devastating consequences. China prioritizes its own needs over those of its neighbors. Dams on transboundary rivers are often built without adequate consultation. The Mekong River provides a stark example. China's dams on the Mekong exacerbate droughts and disrupt livelihoods. The lack of transparency from Beijing fuels these anxieties. Information about dam operations is often shrouded in secrecy. China, for its part, maintains that its mega dam projects are driven by a commitment to sustainable development and regional stability. Beijing argues that these dams are essential for meeting the country's growing energy needs, while reducing its reliance on polluting coal-fired power plants. The Chinese government also highlights the flood control benefits of these dams, pointing out that they can help regulate water flow and protect downstream communities from devastating floods. They argue that the economic benefits of these projects, including job creation and improved infrastructure, will benefit the entire region. Furthermore, China has made efforts in recent years to engage with its neighbors on transboundary water issues. It has signed agreements on data sharing and established joint mechanisms for managing shared water resources. Beijing insists that it is committed to finding mutually beneficial solutions and ensuring that its water infrastructure projects do not come at the expense of its neighbors. However, these reassurances have done little to allay the concerns of downstream countries. They argue that China's actions often speak louder than its words, and that the lack of transparency surrounding its water management practices continues to undermine trust and cooperation. Section 5. A cascade of consequences. When dams exacerbate global tensions. China's mega dam projects, while impressive feats of engineering, are not isolated incidents. They are part of a larger global trend of dam building that is reshaping the geopolitical landscape and intensifying competition for water resources. As climate change disrupts rainfall patterns and intensifies droughts, the stakes are only getting higher. The potential consequences of this growing water stress are profound. In regions already grappling with political instability and social unrest, competition for water can easily escalate into conflict. The displacement of communities due to dam construction The loss of livelihoods dependent on river ecosystems and the exacerbation of existing inequalities can all contribute to social unrest and instability. The international community cannot afford to be complacent. The time to act is now, before these tensions boil over into full-blown crises. We need to move beyond narrow national interests and embrace a spirit of cooperation and shared responsibility. The future of our planet and the well-being of billions of people depend on our ability to manage this precious resource wisely and equitably. Section 6. The Mekong, a microcosm of water wars. Brewing? The Mekong River, one of the world's great waterways, provides a stark illustration of the geopolitical tensions that can arise from competition for water resources. Originating in the Tibetan Plateau, the Mekong flows through 6 Southeast Asian nations: Myanmar, Laos, Thailand, Cambodia, Vietnam, and China, before emptying into the South China Sea. For centuries, the Mekong has been a lifeline for the people of Southeast Asia, supporting a rich tapestry of cultures and ecosystems. Millions of people depend on the river for their livelihoods, from fishing and agriculture to transportation and tourism. However, the Mekong is now facing unprecedented threats, and China's dam-building spree on the upper reaches of the river is a major source of concern. China has already completed 11 dams on the Mekong, and more are in the pipeline. These dams have altered the river's flow, disrupting fish migration patterns, exacerbating droughts, and impacting the livelihoods of millions of people downstream. The situation is particularly dire in the lower Mekong basin, where countries like Vietnam and Cambodia are already facing severe water stress. Section 7. Towards a cooperative future, sharing, not weaponizing, rivers. The growing tensions over transboundary rivers highlight the urgent need for a new approach to water management, one that prioritizes cooperation, sustainability, and the equitable sharing of this precious resource. The era of viewing rivers as national assets to be exploited for narrow self-interest must give way to a more enlightened perspective that recognizes the interconnectedness of water systems and the shared destiny of all who depend on them. Regional cooperation is paramount. Countries that share river basins must engage in meaningful dialogue, build trust, and work together to develop joint management plans that ensure the equitable and sustainable use of water resources. This includes establishing clear mechanisms for data sharing, coordinating water releases from dams, and jointly addressing issues such as pollution and environmental degradation. International organizations such as the United Nations and the World Bank have a crucial role to play in facilitating dialogue, providing technical assistance, and promoting best practices in transboundary water management. They can also help to mediate disputes and ensure that agreements are implemented fairly and transparently. Section 8. Data transparency, building trust in a water-stressed world. Transparency is essential for building trust and fostering cooperation on transboundary water issues. Countries that share river basins must be willing to share data on water flow, dam operations, and potential environmental impacts. This information is crucial for downstream countries to plan for and mitigate potential risks, such as droughts, floods, and water quality issues. The lack of transparency breeds suspicion and mistrust, making it difficult to find mutually acceptable solutions. When countries operate in secrecy, it fuels anxieties and creates an environment ripe for misunderstanding and conflict. Open data sharing, on the other hand, can help to build confidence, promote understanding, and foster a spirit of cooperation. It allows downstream countries to verify the information they are being given and to hold upstream countries accountable for their actions. International organizations can play a key role in promoting data transparency by developing standardized data sharing protocols, providing technical assistance to countries in collecting and sharing data, and facilitating the establishment of regional data sharing platforms. Section 9. Beyond engineering, the imperative of sustainable water management. While technological solutions like dams and reservoirs are important, they are not a panacea. We cannot simply build our way out of the water crisis. A holistic approach is required, addressing root causes and promoting efficient use. This requires a paradigm shift in water management. We need to move from supply-oriented to demand-oriented approaches. This requires effort from all stakeholders. Invest in technologies, promote responsible use, and protect resources. The future depends on managing water wisely and equitably. The time to act is now.